ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to yet another brand new video of my cricket dreams. Myself Adinar, and in today's video we would be discussing about World War I. The start of the war. World War I began on July 28, 1914 when Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia. This seemingly small conflict between two countries rapidly spread soon, and world powers like Germany, Russia, Great Britain and France were all drawn into the war, largely because they were involved in treaties that obligated them to defend certain other nations. Western and Eastern fronts quickly opened along the borders of Germany and Austria-Hungary. The Western and Eastern fronts. The first month of combat consisted of bold attacks and rapid troop movements on both fronts. In the west, Germany attacked first Belgium and then France. In the east, Russia attacked both Germany and Austria-Hungary. In the south, Austria-Hungary attacked Serbia. Following the Battle of Marne, September 5, 1914, the Western Front became entrenched in central France and remained that way for the rest of the year. The fronts in the east also gradually locked into place. The Ottoman Empire. Late in 1914, the Ottoman Empire was brought into the fray as well. After Germany tricked Russia into thinking that Turkey had attacked it, as a result, much of 1915 was dominated by Allied actions against Ottoman Empire in the Mediterranean. First, Britain and France launched a failed attack on Dardanelles. This campaign was followed by the British invasion of Gallipoli Peninsula. Britain also launched a separate campaign against the Turks in Mesopotamia. Although the British had some success in Mesopotamia, the Gallipoli campaign and the attacks on the Dardanelles resulted in British defeats. Trench warfare. The middle part of the war 1916 and 1917 was dominated by continued trench warfare in both the east and the west. Soldiers fought from dug-in positions, striking at each other with machine guns, heavy artillery and chemical weapons. Though soldiers died by millions in brutal conditions, neither side had any substantial advantage. The United States' endurance and Russia's exit. Despite the stalemate position on both fronts in Europe, the two important developments in the war occurred in 1917. In early April, the United States, angered by the attacks upon its ships in the Atlantic, declared war on Germany. Then in November, the Bolshevik Revolution prompted Russia to pull out of war. The end of the war and armistice. Although both sides launched renewed offensives in 1918 in an all-out or nothing effort to win the war, both efforts failed. The fighting between exhausted, demoralized troops continued to plod along until the Germans lost a number of individual battles and very gradually began to fall back. A deadly outbreak of influenza, meanwhile, took heavy tolls on soldiers of both sides. Eventually, the government of both Germany and Austria-Hungary began to lose control as both countries experienced multiple mutinies from within their military structures. The war ended in late fall of 1918 after the member countries of the Central Powers signed armistice agreements one by one. Germany was the last, signing its armistice on November 11, 1918. As a result of these agreements, Austria-Hungary was broken up into several smaller countries. Germany, under the Treaty of Versailles, was severely punished with hefty economic reparations, territorial losses, and strict limits on its rights to develop military. Its air force was abandoned and its military was reduced to just a few thousand soldiers. Germany after the war. Many historians in hindsight believed that Allies were excessive in their punishment of Germany and that the harsh Treaty of Versailles actually planted the seeds of World War II rather than foster peace. The treaty's declaration that Germany was entirely to blame for the war was a blatant untruth that humiliated the German people. Furthermore, the treaty imposed steep war reparations payments on the Germany, meant to force the country to bear the financial burden of the war. Although Germany ended up paying only a small percentage of the reparations it was supposed to make, it was already stretched financially thin by the war, and the additional economic burden caused enormous resentment. Ultimately, extremist groups such as the Nazi Party were able to exploit this humiliation and resentment and take political control of the country in the decades following to World War II. So, thank you friends for watching my channel. Kindly like, subscribe and comment, and for more such notifications, kindly subscribe my channel. Thank you.